Hi, Yunan. In your last lesson, you started looking at how to analyze a source for its perspective, reliability, and its usefulness. In this lesson, we're going to try and apply that to our report on a legend. And to go back to our instructions, we're analyzing two sources. We've got to identify each source and evaluate for its usefulness, its reliability, and its perspective within 300 words. Let's have a look at how the A sample that you've been provided has done it. Reminder, the A sample is in your OneNote in the Assessments tab, and as well as the B, C, and D samples, and these are also posted onto Compass Newsfeed, so you can find those. In the source analysis section, we can see it's got a clear heading. It's then source 1 is identified, and then source 2 is identified. There's one sentence only on what the source is, or two sentences. So it says Homer's Iliad as a key source for investigating the historicity of the Trojan War. And it's the first known ancient source which refers explicitly to that, which makes it highly relevant. And then it tells us what perspective it's from, which is Homer, a Greek poet in 8th century BCE, and Homer's perspective affects the reliability in multiple ways. So I've linked perspective, the person has linked perspective with reliability, which is a higher level skill. Saying that Homer lived 700 years after the events, so he wasn't there at the time. In addition, as a poet, he was probably attempting to entertain his audience by adding dramatic events and mythical elements and providing rich descriptions of characters. Therefore, Homer's Iliad could be regarded as highly useful and relevant, although largely unreliable. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for the A sample. And we have a similar example here of source 2. A similar sort of deal there, although the source, because it's a modern source and it's from an archaeological journal, the information provided within it is much more reliable. Let's compare this to our C sample, which looks at the Flying Dutchman. So we have two sources again provided here. We can see that the heading's there, source 1. It doesn't tell us what the source is, it just provides a URL. So that's probably not the strongest start. And then it tells us a bit about the source, and tells us a bit about, loosely, how it's useful, but it doesn't really tell us about the perspective and the reliability of each source. So there's a few limitations in that there. Plus we could probably see in some more detail. It's a quite a simple way of doing it. I would expect that we'd be having a go at doing even better than that. So we're really aiming to do one kind of like this one here. If we look now at our report template, your job will be to add, under the source analysis heading, your two sources and the analysis of both of those sources. So we want to start working on that in today's lesson. You can also, of course, refer to bias, purpose, intended audience, when it was made, if that's relevant to the perspective, the usefulness, or the reliability. Now, if we look at our annotated marking criteria, you can see that it refers to analysis of two relevant sources, makes insightful points about all three of reliability, perspective, and usefulness, chooses appropriate sources. So please make sure that you're looking at that as well, the annotated marking criteria there. Towards the end of the week and over the weekend, if you're someone who wants to do really well in your report on a legend, I'd like you to send me a draft and I can give you some feedback on that draft, which you can use to then further improve. I hope that makes sense. Thanks for listening. Bye.